Donald Trump's threat against Oman has added a new layer of volatility to already a fragile situation in the Gulf. Speaking during a cabinet meeting in Washington, the US president warned that nobody is going to control the Strait of Hormuz and suggested Oman would face military consequences if it became involved in any arrangement with Iran over the waterway.
Nobody's going to control it. We're going to watch over it. We'll watch over it, but nobody's going to control it. That's part of the negotiation that we have. They would like to control it. Nobody's going to control it. It's international waters, and Oman will behave just like everybody else, so we'll have to blow them up. They understand that. They'll be fine.
The remarks came after reports in Iranian media that Tehran and Muscat were discussing a framework for jointly overseeing shipping through the strait. Washington dismissed those reports as fabricated. But the reaction from the White House appeared to reflect a deeper concern that Iran could emerge from the war with a more formalized role in controlling one of the world's most strategically important maritime choke points. The Strait of Hormuz handles more than 20% of global oil traffic. It is often described as an international waterway, but geographically most of it lies within Iranian and Omani territorial waters. That legal distinction matters. Under international maritime law, countries cannot impose tolls on ships transiting through natural straits, but they can provide maritime services linked to navigation and passage. Iran's reported proposal with Oman appears to operate inside that gray area, framing payments as a service fees rather than transit tolls. Analysts say this is precisely what alarms Washington. For the United States, the concern is not simply about shipping access during wartime. It is about preventing Iran's wartime leverage over Hormuz from becoming institutionalized after the conflict. And Oman occupies an unusually sensitive position in that equation. Unlike several Gulf states that host US military forces, Oman has traditionally maintained a more balanced regional posture. It has long-standing ties with Washington while also serving as one of Tehran's most trusted Arab interlocutors. Before the US-Israel war in Iran began in February, Oman was mediating nuclear talks between Washington and Tehran. Its foreign minister had publicly described those discussions as constructive only hours before the conflict erupted. Since the April ceasefire, Oman has continued consultations related to navigation and regional de-escalation, even as negotiations between the US and Iran have repeatedly stalled. That diplomatic role now risks becoming more complicated. Trump's remarks were widely criticized by analysts and rights activists, who warned that threatening a long-time Gulf partner could further destabilize an already intense regional environment. The comment also arrived amid continuing military flare-ups around Hormuz. Iran's Revolutionary Guard says it recently fired warning shots at vessels attempting to transit the strait without active radar signals. There's also been reported exchanges between US and Iranian military assets near the Bandar Abbas, along drone and missile incidents elsewhere in the Gulf. So while the ceasefire technically remains in place, the region continues to operate in a state of low-level confrontation. The larger issue here is now that conflict is no longer only about Iran's nuclear program or the ceasefire itself. It is increasingly about who shapes the post-war order in the Gulf. For Iran, control over Hormuz offers strategic leverage. For the United States, freedom of navigation through the strait is a core principle underpinning its military and economic presence in the region. And for Oman, the challenge is becoming harder to navigate, remaining a mediator in a conflict where neutrality itself is starting to come under pressure.